Margaret hadn't received a letter in 11 years. So when the envelope appeared under her door on a Tuesday morning, her hands began to shake before she even picked it up. She was 74. She lived in a small house on Birchwood Lane that smelled of old books and lavender, and, on certain mornings, of the particular kind of quiet that accumulates when a person has been alone for a very long time. Most of the neighbors had moved away over the years. The Hendersons, the family with the red door, had gone first. Then the young couple across the street with the noisy dog. Now there were mostly strangers, and Margaret had stopped learning their names. Her daughter called on Sundays. Sometimes. Her son sent cards at Christmas, always signed with just his name, as though he had run out of other words. Her husband, Robert, had been gone since the winter of 2012. She had learned, slowly and imperfectly, to fill the silence with small things. Morning tea in the blue cup. The crossword, which she did in pencil so she could erase the mistakes. A walk to the end of the driveway and back, just to feel the outside air on her face, just to remind herself that the world was still there. That morning, she almost stepped on it. She was thinking about the kettle, about whether she had remembered to buy milk, about nothing in particular, the way mornings work when you live alone, and there is no one to interrupt your thoughts. And then she looked down, a cream-colored envelope lying just inside the front door, unsealed. No stamp, no return address, just her name, Margaret, written in a hand she had not seen in 41 years. She knew it immediately, the way you know a piece of music you haven't heard since childhood, not consciously, not with any effort, just a recognition that moves through the body before the mind has time to intervene. She stood very still. The kettle began to whistle in the kitchen. She didn't move. Then, slowly, she bent down and picked it up. She carried it to the hallway chair, the one she never usually sat in, and she sat down. Not because she was tired, but because her legs had simply decided they were done. His name was Thomas. They had met in the summer of 1973 at a dance held as the old community hall in a small town in Vermont that no longer exists. She had worn a yellow dress, the color of early morning, because her mother had told her yellow was hopeful, and she had wanted to feel hopeful that night. Thomas had asked her to dance, and then forgotten the steps halfway through the second song, and they had both laughed so hard that they'd had to sit down on the steps outside to recover, and by the time they went back inside, the dance was nearly over. They had been together for 2 years. Then her father got sick. Then she moved back home to help her mother. Then life became the kind of complicated that doesn't announce itself. It simply arrives, and by the time you understand what has happened, the door has already closed. They never said a proper goodbye. She had thought about that, the missing goodbye, more times than she could count, in quiet rooms, in the middle of the night, on ordinary Tuesdays, for no reason at all. She made herself another cup of tea before she opened the envelope. She needed to be steady. She needed her hands to stop shaking, or at least to shake less. She sat at the kitchen table and looked at her name written in his handwriting and tried to prepare herself for whatever was inside. She was not sure you could prepare for a thing like this. But she tried. The letter was 2 pages, written in a careful, slightly uneven hand. The hand of someone who had taken their time, who had perhaps written and rewritten it more than once. He had found her address through a mutual friend, a woman named Carol, who still lived in Vermont. He was 77. He had been widowed 3 years ago. His wife's name had been Patricia, and she had been, he said, a very good woman. He was not writing to ask for anything. He wanted to be clear about that. He simply wanted her to know that she had never fully left his mind, that he still thought about the yellow dress, that he was sorry for the way things had ended, or rather, for the way they had not ended, for the absence of any real ending at all, and that if she ever wanted to simply talk, no expectations, no pressure, no promises of any kind. His phone number was at the bottom of the second page. She read it 3 times. Then she folded it very carefully along its original creases and placed it on the kitchen table in front of her. She looked at it for a long time. The tea went cold. She didn't notice. She didn't call him that day. She told herself she was thinking about it, which was true. She was also afraid, which she did not tell herself, because she had not admitted to being afraid of something in a very long time. On the second day, she took out the letter and read it again. On the third day, she put on the kettle and sat beside the telephone for 22 minutes. She knew because she counted, and then she picked it up. The number rang twice. A man's voice answered. It was a voice that had gotten older, slower, deeper, a little rough at the edges, the way voices get when they've lived in a body for nearly 8 decades. But underneath all of that, there was something she recognized, something she had not heard in 41 years and still knew immediately, the way you know a piece of music from the very first note. She closed her eyes. "Thomas," she said. "It's Margaret." A silence. And then, very quietly, he said, "I know." If you received a letter like this, would you open it? Would you make the call? Leave your answer in the comments below. And if this story touched something in you, share it with someone who might need to hear it today.